guys, today I'm going to give you a video walkthrough of how I put together my Good and the Beautiful science units. Okay, so here are the items you're going to want. A laminator, laminating sheets, a paper cutter, 3-hole puncher, scissors, sheet protectors, these little zipped pouches. I have a small one and a big one, and you'll see why when I start putting together the unit. A binder that fits the unit. Now, until you order your units and actually receive them, you're not going to know how thick they are and how big of a binder that you need. The safety unit, I'm just going to put into a 1/2-inch binder. So these are the items that you're going to want. And then everything else for this video, I'm just going to do a voiceover for it, and I'm just going to speed up the process so that this isn't a 30-minute video for you guys. So to get started, you're going to take all the packaging off of your binder, open up your science unit, keep the things that you need. I always put that cover page right in front, and then I'm going to start hole punching these. As I'm going through it, I'm also taking out the pages that need to be laminated. So all of those vocabulary words end up being laminated because we put them on our science wall, and it's easier to put tape to the back of them or anything. They just are safer when they're laminated. So anything that needs to be copied, I'm actually putting in a clear plastic sleeve. These are things that I need to copy for my children, and I just know that when I open up this unit, I pull everything out of that clear plastic sleeve to copy for them. So again, you just go through this process. You kind of have to read through the lesson a little bit and decide what you want laminated and what you don't. Sometimes I laminate the little storybooks that they have, and sometimes I don't, just depending on if I want my kid to have their own. And again, this is totally done by personal preference. They do tell you what they suggest you do in putting it together, but sometimes I find that for different activities and things like that, I would like my kids to have their own copy of the worksheet or the paper or whatever it may be. So I tend to save it and copy it for them later, which I'll give a little bit more of an explanation in just a minute. Okay, so here I actually want to pause and explain what I did. These are the originals, so they are a little bit better quality than what my my printer can do, but this is what I wanted to do. So reading through this activity, I realized that I do want to cut these out and laminate them, but I also wanted a copy so that I can copy them for my children. Because what this activity involves is you place these, this is the safety unit, so you place these around in your kitchen for your kids to find. But before you do that, you talk over burns, cuts, falls, fire, bacteria. And then as they search the kitchen, they place them under which heading it falls under. And I wanted them to be able to do it on their own. And so this way, these can be their own. I will make copies for each of my kids. We'll cut out these headers and put them on a piece of paper as we discuss them, and then they'll have these cut out to shuffle through as they're finding them in the room and placing them in their own books. That way they have like a record of their own safety. So this is the copied one that I'm actually going to put in a protective sheet. Anything that I put in a protective sheet is things I need to copy for my kids, and then I leave these out because that tells me, and this is the unit lesson for that, I leave these out, that tells me that I need to laminate them. And I do want to point out that I leave it out, I don't necessarily take it out of the book completely, I just set it within that same lesson stacked in between those pages, not 3-hole punched in, so that I know which lesson it goes to as I'm going through and pulling out pages to laminate. I know which lesson it goes to, and I don't have to play, guess which lesson or reread all the lessons again. So here is the process where I am just cutting apart anything that needs to be cut apart and laminated. I think this is pretty self-explanatory. You just cut it apart and laminate it. I try to always use a full laminating sheet. I try to make it so that I don't have a bunch of excess on my laminating sheets. That being said, sometimes I have to really keep track of what's coming from what lesson. Again, we always laminate all of our vocabulary words, so that's kind of a nice one just to fit in wherever I can on into different lessons because it's not set. I have to read through the lessons anyways to place my vocabulary words. So once I've gone through the whole book and I have laminated everything that I need to. Now I'm just gonna go through and cut these all apart, and then I'll put them, depending on what needs to go where. The vocabulary cards always fit in these little ones. Okay, so my camera shut off and didn't record the full put together, but here is the finished science unit all put together. I'll give you guys a flip through of it. So we have our cover page, and then we open it up. This is the extra magnet that came with the lesson for you to stick on your fridge, and I'm just gonna do that when we have the lesson, of course. And then you have your glossary, your index. Right here is where we're going to be getting started with lesson 1. And so with this, I have taken anything that needed to be in lesson 1 that I cut out and laminated is now in this little zip pouch. I can pull it all out, and then I can begin the lesson with my kids. So there's that. This is stuff that needs to be copied for them for their notebooks. This is the answer key. This is lesson 2, and this one got a bigger pouch because it has this bigger lesson book. There are a few other times when I need a bigger pouch for like artwork or things like that I don't want to trim down, but I do want to have it laminated. So that's why I like the bigger pouches as well. So yeah, and then it just makes it super easy for you as a parent to just be able to pull out what you need, flip through, know that when I'm preparing the lessons for the week, I need to pull this out and copy it for my children. Sometimes too, just depending, I'll even put like a post-it note on here and it'll say like 1 per kid, but I've done this so often now that I don't even need that post-it note. But yeah, this is what the completed book looks like. Again, these zip pouches are in front of every single lesson. So I know that this belongs to this lesson. I pull it all out because that's what we need generally to get started. Again, we have, see, this is like that bigger artwork piece that I was talking about, and that's why I like these bigger folders for it. But that is how I put together my Good and the Beautiful science units. And this has definitely evolved and gotten better and better as time has gone by. I will say the only thing that actually has changed for me, I've always done my science units this way. The only thing that has changed is adding these bigger zip pouches and reading through the lesson to decide what I want to actually separate and have copied. Separate and laminate versus making copies for my children. So there is that. There is the completed science unit for you guys. I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. There are all sorts of ways that you guys can do this. This is just the way that works for me and for my family. I thought I'd share it with you guys. I find that seeing other people's ideas helps you find your own idea or gives you an idea to make something even better. So there you go. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.